Thank you to Councillor Bassan for taking the time to talk to us. You can watch my full interview. That wasn't the full one. You can watch the full one on our New Mexico in Focus YouTube page. Now let's bring in our line opinion panel for their thoughts on the recent votes by council. We're excited to have Serge Martinez. He's a professor at the UNM School of Law with us this week, along with Inez Russell Gomez. She's editor of the Santa Fe New Mexicans editorial page. And also Merritt Allen of Vox Optima Public Relations, one of our regulars. Glad to have you, Merritt. Thank you all for being with us this week. Now that the city has closed down Coronado Park, the only homeless encampment they've approved is facing harsh backlash from a nearby neighborhood in Martineztown. Now, people living there say the city never reached out about putting a homeless camp nearby. One man told KRQE television now that there is some dialogue, it seems like the city doesn't have a solution after hearing from Councillor Bassan. Now, Merritt, let me talk to you about this first. Do you think the city has a workable plan here as you hear the little bits floating in or out? Or are we just making this up? Or what's your sense after hearing Councillor Bassan's reversal on all of this? What's your sense about the plan as it stands now? Where are we?
Well, I think it's clear that this administration doesn't have a plan when it comes to the unhoused. Because this is the approved encampment. What about the massive encampment at Central and Tramway?
Right.
What about along the overpasses along 40? What about along Zuni, the stretches along Zuni in the International District? There are de facto encampments all over the metropolitan area, and nothing is being done. And you cannot live in the metro area and not notice this is a marked change from previous administrations. It's kind of becoming like Portland, where it's just okay. And there are certainly many root causes to homelessness, being unhoused as a lifestyle. A lot of it is mental illness and addiction. So there are interventions that I would think a more liberal government would want to do, rather than just circling them into one park and saying, there you go. So I feel this is just kind of a failed state situation. And I appreciated Councilwoman Bassan's comments about, there used to be rules. You can't be in this park after 10 p.m. We're closing the park. You have to go. You can't sleep on this bench. This isn't okay. Anti-vagrancy laws. I know this sounds harsh, but I think a lot of residents are getting fed up. The plan for I-25 and Manal, I can see where there's just a solution to have them go someplace else. Well, the group who was camping in Coronado Park, they've simply just gone back to Coronado Park outside the fence.
That's right.
It's convenient, and I guess Manal and 25 isn't that far. I don't know if they'll be transported. I don't know if they would walk there. It's not a heavily residential area, but it is a heavily commercial area. And I can see where business owners might not appreciate that, and simply throwing up a couple porta potties and saying, okay, you can be here and we'll leave you alone. That's not a plan.
Yeah, good stuff there. Serge, individuals could be short-sighted. We all know that. You know that, being a law school professor. Our elected leaders have to balance those concerns, of course, while keeping a long-term plan, in quotes, plan for the future in mind. But at what point do your priorities and ideals for the greater good that was mentioned earlier by Merritt come before the complaints of constituents? You see the balancing act here. Have we moved into a new phase here?
Yeah, I think we're in the exact same phase we always are,
Okay.
Which is, everybody says we got to do something. I mean, just not over here, obviously. I mean, is it a surprise that the folks in Martineztown are saying we don't want this here? Everyone always says that, right?
Right.
And we often hear people referring to, loitering laws, which we don't have in Albuquerque, anti-vagrancy laws, which we don't have in Albuquerque, for very good reason, right? Because they were weaponized in racist and classist ways.
Yep.
To just say, ooh, that's icky, we don't want that here. But we're doing the same thing, right? Say, Mayor Keller waved his magic wand and all of a sudden we didn't have any homeless folks in Coronado Park. Well, I mean, they went somewhere, right? This is just, it's not a plan. It's a shell game, like try to, move folks around and hope that, see how long it takes people to complain stridently, and then we push them off, do something, move them somewhere else. You might want to run a little crawler that says this is not a repeat, because I'll say the same thing I have said so many times, right? There is no plan here, but there is a well understood mechanism for doing this. There's no silver bullet, and one simple trick that we can just do that hasn't been tried. But there's been a lot of research about housing first. You know what a great cure is for homelessness? Housing.
Thank you.
Right? It requires resources. It also requires us to stop increasing the homeless population through our, eviction process and letting people just not have a place to live because of rising rents. So coming at it from both ways, I mean, this is very straightforward. It just requires actual resources and an actual commitment to dedicate those resources to this, rather than keep doing the same thing and throw up our hands and say, well, it still didn't work. What shall we do?
That's right. That's right. I'll remind viewers that the mayor has, as we tape this on Thursday, the mayor has until Friday, you're seeing this Friday night, to either let it go when it becomes law, or make a decision here and sign off on the council's vote to create a moratorium. Inez, we wouldn't have time to air the part of the conversation I had with Councilor Bassan when I asked her about faith groups, churches, and others who are stepping in to create their own shelter and aid areas. This is an interesting part of this discussion to me. Should the city help these groups take on part of the burden if they're willing?
I think that anyone who wants to help the least fortunate among us should get help from whether the city, the state, whoever. Yes, I do think so. In Santa Fe, years ago, we had a winter where many people froze to death outside, right. And our interfaith groups got together and created the Interfaith Shelter at Pete's Place, which sadly was an old pet store. It's always kind of boggles my mind that our homeless shelter is an old pet store. But since that happened, we've had homeless people die, but not many of them have frozen to death.
Okay.
And I really think that was a great showing of how people could work together, faith communities and the city government, to create a place where people could be safe in the winter. I'll say this to Albuquerque, because obviously Santa Fe is going through the same thing. Lincoln Park in Las Vegas, New Mexico was shut down by the mayor because there were so many unhoused people basically ruining the park. And this is like an iconic park in Newtown when you come off Grand and up 7th Street. So we're all facing this. This isn't just Albuquerque's problem, it's across New Mexico. You can either have unsafe outdoor spaces, or you can try to have safe outdoor spaces.
Right.
And while I think you can criticize leaders for saying there's not a plan, the plan is to kind of consolidate some of the encampments, make them safer, get people connected with services, and doing what Serge says is so important, getting them housed as much as you can, and treating every person who is unhoused as an individual, because a long-term street addict is going to need a different service than the person who just got divorced and her husband cleaned out the bank account and now she has no place to live.
Those are two
So we
excellent
really
examples.
have to treat every individual as an individual and find solutions that work for them, and stop evictions, stop creating more people without housing, and try to talk to the neighbors so that they can understand that maybe this camp isn't going to be the people in their front yards, breaking in their houses. Because I understand why neighbors don't trust government. Because we all have seen people pushing carts around and, foraging through our yards. And it's worrisome. It is. And you have to listen to those constituents. But you also have to understand that we're in a great upheaval and we've got to help people who need help.
That's right. Good point there. Mayor, we've got to talk about this one. The big part of the mayor's plan to address this issue is the Gateway Center. It's getting closer to opening, but as the attention around this problem grows and grows and grows, I'm starting to wonder, is one facility going to be enough to make a real difference here? Is this just the tip of something bigger? I'm Serge is saying no. You're curious on your thoughts and Serge's thoughts in a second on this. With our Gateway Center, is this the solution?
Well, there are challenges to that and the tiny homes community, which,
Yes.
Was quite
county.
expensive and is largely vacant. The Gateway Center is a more transitional facility as a shelter, but there is a reason many prolonged unhoused people remain that way. It is a choice. And so I think there will be some reluctance, simply the logistics of getting people from these high density homeless areas to the Gateway Center, finding the people to transport them, safety, security there, the manning, all of that, the staffing, I think is going to be a challenge, and then security within the facility, because I don't know that every unhoused person they encounter is going to be a volunteer.
Serge, I want you to touch on this as well. We started talking about Martineztown here. What do the folks in Martineztown need to do here to be heard? What's missing, and that the city just can't walk in there and drop this situation on their backs like this?
I mean, they are being heard. Have you heard? They're in the news.
Yes.
You know, this is the classic complaint. The news, they stick a camera in your face and report what you said, and you say no one's listening to me. We are listening. They are being heard. They have a platform, and they'll get the same response that everyone gets, right? Oh, you're right. This is too much of a hot potato, so we'll move it on to wherever we find a place where people are less organized and less willing to complain. Doesn't solve the problem. And you know, I'm not unsympathetic to the idea of having a little bit of say in what happens in your neighborhood, but you know, there are certain things that nobody really wants around, and we have to figure out a way to do it that is not, well, if someone starts shouting, then we just move on, right? I mean, like I said, I think it is a travesty that we have these encampments and outdoor spaces, because we should be focusing on permanent, stable housing, right? This is not a lifestyle or a choice. This is, nobody wants to live on the street. Nobody wants to defecate in public. You do that because it's been, you've been kept out of other places. All of the shelters that, as Merritt alluded to, the tiny houses, tiny home village, you can't use, you can't drink. You have to, tick a bunch of boxes before you qualify for this. Well, that doesn't work for a lot of people. And as Inez was saying, meeting people where they are is what we need to be doing, right, to approach this. But this, have you been to a shelter? It is, I would go there only as a very last resort, and that's the choice that a lot of people are making.
That's right. That's right. Good last point there. That's a key point in the decision making. Thank you all for talking through that. We're going to be doing our best to discuss this in a meaningful way in the coming weeks and months, that's for sure. We'll meet right back here at the virtual roundtable in less than a minute to address another growing problem. This time inside our jails, where staffing shortages are reaching crisis levels.